recording. Okay. So, greetings again. So when we were looking, so this is a follow-on from the previous video about the Coldrum Stones. So when we were looking at the photographs, what was really interesting is there's more evidence that we were not alone on that day in the photos. And what we've actually got is we've got light beings. So they appear as a rainbow, like a shape, specific shape. But they are rainbow colours. So, for any of you who didn't watch the previous video, go and watch that, yeah, because I talk a lot about what we were doing there, yeah, so I'm not going to repeat that again. So go and watch the previous video. So Ian did a bit of research on the Coldrum Stones. Do you want to give a brief outline of what they actually are?
Yeah, the Coldrum Stones are built up agricultural land. It's not a natural formation or rise there. That was one piece of information. They are thought to be older, a lot older than Stonehenge.
Something like 3,000 years older than Stonehenge.
And it's the oldest long barrow. It's a long barrow.
Yeah, it is a long barrow.
In the UK.
That's very cool.
And they're on a ley line as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very cool.
Which connects with, there's a church there in,
Snodland?
yeah,
That's the nearest village.
There's another little village which has got...
Vigo?
Yeah.
Vigo?
It's got the stones in underneath on the foundation. But yeah, that's kind of all I've sort of been on that. And also, when we first looked at the Coldrum Stones, there wasn't many videos up.
No, there weren't.
About them, apart from one guy who had a compass, and he was quite fascinated that the compass was doing odd things. You had a compass that day, didn't you?
Yeah, and what was interesting, I can't remember if I said this in the previous video, was that the compass was going, so you set north on your compass, obviously, and what was happening is when you were just moving backwards and forwards along, you know, the a line, yeah, it was doing this. So it was acting like a pendulum, but it was the compass. The compass needle was acting like a pendulum, which was really strange. So is there anything else that you found out about it, Ian?
I can't think of any.
Okay. So I'm just tidying up my desk a bit. So yeah, what we found...
Oh yeah, the bodies. Yeah, just
bodies. Okay.
24 skeletons that were taken from the Long Barrow, and I think they're in Maidstone Museum. I think it was Maidstone Museum.
Because that's what people do these days. They nick them.
I tried to find pictures of the skeletons, but couldn't find anything. There's a bit more research to do on that. But it has taken the interest. There was a notable guy that studies standing stones, and he's been on ancient aliens and various different things talking about that specific subject.
Yeah.
And he's travelled all over the world to have a look at standing stones. And that he turned up there was quite interesting. He made a short documentary about those
wow.
standing stones.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think we're probably very...
Sorry, carry on. It's just a thing that he does.
Very lucky to be able to have seen the other stones, which are just a little bit further along. But they're all linked. Chestnuts.
So you got the chestnuts, Addington Long Barrow, and Coldrum Stones, Kitscotty, Little Kitscotty, and there are more. There are so many of these monuments in the Medway.
And what the suggestion is that all the churches are built on those ley lines.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this is about as far as it's probably a lot more. In a short period of digging that I did.
Cool. So yeah, what we definitely take from this evidence that we've got is that our ancestors are definitely here right now. And when you do work, when the veil is thin, so that those particular times in the Wheel of the Year when the veil is thin, when you do the work to connect with your ancestors, then when the veil unthins again, your connection to them is stronger, through doing the work when the veil is thin. Okay, so let's go and have a look at these pictures. So what I'm going to do is we're going to look at the photos. We're going to look at 3 photos, and the first one, the rainbows are not there, and then the other 2 that follow, so they were directly after, and you'll see by the numbers, of the photos, taken with this camera again, this Sony Cybershot, amazing camera. I only realised how amazing it was when I went to look for a new one, and it's like, actually this one's pretty fucking good. So we're taken with that camera in succession, 3 photos in succession, So in the first one, the rainbow's not there. In the second 2, they are very definitely there. And then what I'm going to do, so I've already done one in Photoshop where I've just adjusted the brightness and the contrast so they really come out, See what you can see. Okay, so here we go. So here's the first one. It's been a pain in the bum. Stop it. Right. No, that's not the first one. Right, there's the first one. So when you look here, why isn't it changed in there? Or has it? No, it has. Okay. Just checking that everything's working all right. Dog's making funny noises. Okay. So when you look here, there's no rainbow. There's no rainbow colours or anything. So we can zoom in a bit as well. Can't see any rainbow whatsoever. Okay. No rainbows. Alright. What can you see? So this is unedited, and if you look, just so down here, 1675, 1676, and I'll show you the next one when we get there. So what can you see, and where can you see it? So you can even see it when it's zoomed in, and oh my god, it's even reflecting off my arm. I'd never noticed that before, because there's nothing here that's that colour. It's reflecting off my arm. I don't have yellow arms, by the way. So what can you see there? And this side as well. So let's just zoom it out. Because what we noticed is, yes, there's the rainbow, and it kind of takes this kind of smile shape, but they're separate. They're separate. So you've got a shape here, and then it's kind of separated, and then you got another shape here, and then it's separated, and then you got another shape here. I can't really see. There is something here. I'm not sure what that is. It could be the bottom of another one. And then there's a big one here. It's like could actually be a circular being, but we're just seeing part of it. Yeah, but that's big. This one's big here. So that's obviously interesting. And then when we go to the next one, so it's 1, 6, 7, 7. So they're in succession. Yeah, you've got same thing here. Yeah, let's just zoom in a bit. So, and this is, yeah, this is so this is to the right of where I was standing, and a good 6 foot away. Yeah, so you got something here which looks like it's the kind of one edge of a being. There's nothing really here, and then you've got a being here. Yeah, and then you've got again a separation, and then you've got another one here, which is kind of, I don't know if this bit here is separate, I'm not sure, but there's definitely two and a bit beings, and there's a little sliver of something here as well, but it's not clear.
It's noticeably
yes.
Empty.
Yeah. And what's really interesting, I haven't taken the rest of the photos off the camera yet, is that none of the other photos in that, sorry? Good what?
Can you zoom in on that?
Yeah, in a minute. None of the other photos in that series have anything like this. None of them have that. No other rainbows anywhere. Yeah? What do you make of that? Well, what we make of it is they are light beings. Yeah? They are light beings. So again, when you zoom in, it's very clear that there are beings, and they are separate. Yeah? You got this very cool light effect going on here at the bottom as well. So yeah, very definite beings. Yeah, so there is something here, but it's not as.
It's in the middle there, isn't it? Where you'll go. Drag it down a little bit. Drag it down a bit. Go.
It's not as pronounced as the others. Definitely not as pronounced. You can see here.
There. It's well, that's interesting actually, because the surrounding is not as like there's
something. It's like it's not quite manifested.
Yeah, and it's distorted the like as if there's something in front of that the foliage.
Yeah. That's quite interesting. So, you've seen the photos as they are. Yeah. So what I did is I went into Photoshop. So let's just go into there. Photoshop. Right. So what I did with this one is, and you can see what I've done here. Yeah. Bear with. Gugh. You can see what I've done. I've just rotated the canvas, auto color, auto levels, auto contrast, and then I've gone in to the brightness and contrast and just played with them until we get a very clear it's very clear there, isn't it? So I'm just checking that's working. So let's out of the way. Cute. Sorry, it's a bit slow. No, it's locked. Okay, bear with me. Joys of Photoshop 7. So you can really see. Oops. You can really see the outline now, and the colours. Just where I've tweaked that a little bit, yeah, it's a lot more obvious now. In fact, what you can see here is the beginning again of the rainbow. So the red goes back into like a violet colour.
Yeah, you can see that red with those on.
Yeah.
Try those. That red really comes out, pops. Get the red. The other colours not so much.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So you can really see the difference. You can it's very obvious when you look at that. I just think it's fascinating. It's shining. It's actually shining off my arm. So yeah, there were definitely light beings there on that day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this photo as well and do the same. So let me just zoom out so we can see the whole picture. So just auto levels, anytime today, auto contrast, auto color, and then we're going to brightness and contrast. Let's turn the brightness up a little bit. So we don't want too much in the contrast because we lose it. Where's it gone? So that's too much, yeah. Although what's interesting is you've got the still got the violet up here. That's kind of good actually. Let's see what that looks like up close. Oh, it's going to tell me the layer's locked again. Delete layer. Thank you. Right, let's see. Oh wow, yeah. So you can definitely see being here, and another one here, maybe even two. That might even be two, and you can definitely see there is the beginning of something here. Wow, that's very cool, isn't it? Love it. That's very, very cool. And then obviously in this photo, so let me just go through the same process. Auto levels. Anytime today. It's because they're big pictures. Auto contrast. colour. So it's been put through the same and then we'll go in and just check with the brightness and the contrast. Yeah, there's definitely no sign of any rainbow anything in that picture. Definitely not. No. So they are definitely these two. Very definite. Very obvious. Beings of light. Quite amazing, actually. So, yeah. I mean, I think that's really all we need to look at when it comes to those photos. But I mean, what you then extrapolate from that? Because when you think also what we were doing, so that was right in the beginning again, and I can show you because that was at 12:47, 12:48. So that was around the same time that Ian was recording those videos. Yeah, go and check yesterday's video if you don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you need to go and watch that video. So it was at the same time that Ian was recording. So we got that, we got the Carnix sounds, we got the voice, and we got rainbow light beings captured in the photos. We will go through the rest of the photos, and if there's anything else, we'll definitely share that. So and Ian also, I can't remember if I said this yesterday, but at the same time that we were doing all that, or was it a little bit after?
It was a little, in discussion with the other participants. People were observing that I stayed in one spot because I was the only one that didn't drum. I was the only one that didn't really walk the circle. The only thing I did was I took some photographs around the site.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And just generally keeping a record and a diary of kind of like the day. And then when so it was very quiet, and then when I came back, I think we'd started walking the circle with the drum, and I was going to go around with the big drum myself, and then I thought, oh no, I'll offer it to Isabella. I said, you go around with the drum, and then I sat down and I thought, oh well, I'll take some photographs and take a little bit of video. And then when we had lunch, I'd done a bit of drumming. Yes, we were drumming before lunch, and then Sarah, one of the participants, was on my left, and I think she was drumming, and you were singing, and I clearly heard a female voice singing, and so did Sarah, because I stopped right in the middle of the singing,
Yeah.
and said, did you hear that voice?
Yeah.
And Sarah, I don't think you did, but Sarah definitely confirmed that to me immediately.
Yeah.
Did you hear that voice? So there was a voice that we both heard. So that was another piece of evidence of a happening.
Cool.
So it's all in context.
Yeah.
It's in context from the day that we were going to do it, because we probably would have done it on the 21st, we did it on the 22nd. It wasn't really confirmed until reasonably late in the day that we were going to be doing that. So we've done our witch walk on Saturday, and when we was coming down, my camera failed. So that's
we had 2 cameras, and one of them, not this one. It was a Nikon compact, and it just wouldn't work. So I gave Ian this one and said, use that one.
And what's unusual about that is Angie's been taking photographs of nature and putting them upon.
Because I now sell my stuff on Alamy and Dreams Time, and if you want free images of mine, then they're on Pixabay.
And because she's been using that camera, I wasn't expecting her to say use this camera, because I thought we were going to take photographs.
Yeah.
But you didn't. You offered it. You said, "Oh, we'll use this one." So I was just taking random photographs of. Because I'm not a person who I must take it. It's all got to be in focus and stuff. I just take random photographs, and so that was unusual. There was a light effect that was unusual that caught my eye before we went into.
I've got video of that, which I'm gonna. I will share at some point.
And so it's in context. So there was a kind of building of energy. We had a wander around. Well, I had a wander around, got the feel of the place. There was no one there to begin with. And it's kind of built from there, even to the extent where there were a few people that were drawn to what we were doing energetically, and started chatting with us. Not to begin with, because I came in the circle and where the stones were, and they were sitting separately for about 45 minutes, half an hour. And
I'd probably say even an hour, because we were eating and then we were drumming and chanting, and that's when they came up.
And then there's a guy that links with us with Krishna work that we do, and which is unusual because we don't meet Krishnas every day. And he said it saved his life. Which was an amazing story. So he witnessed to him. So, and then the other guy was talking about his back and that he had a problem with his back and he killed himself. I wasn't around for that. I was on the Stones then. And what was really interesting about my stone experience was when I laid on the stone, I completely let go of everything for a period of time when that guy was talking. And so in context to everything, it makes sense that we captured some images. And when I first went through those images, I didn't notice that. I just didn't. I said to you, Angie, didn't I? I said, I haven't seen anything in the photographs. And then when we got that karmics sound, which is just, I can't say how amazing that is. I thought, well, okay, let me have another look at the photographs just to see if I've missed something. So I generally don't. I'm pretty good at that. But to be fair, I can go back over photographs and go, oh, actually, I missed something. But I was generally looking for orbs or figures. Because sometimes you can pick up a figure. A person that's actually there, and you think. And what was really interesting, the 2 guys that were there had very long hair, almost. Pagan looking, aren't they, both of them? And that's when I picked up. I immediately saw them again. It was like, well, I can see rainbows in these pictures. And I checked all the photographs. There was no rainbow in any other, and it's a very good camera. That beautiful images that it creates. So it was. You do it in context from a little tune to the full-blown
Carnix
sound,
voice,
to the voice that we heard while we were chanting and singing, to the chant, even the chants. Because I think one of the chants I was singing, that they were lining up, ancestors lining up.
Yeah, that was the one you created on the spot, which
Yes,
is now completely left our memory. So it was specific for that time in space.
To the extent where the drumming wasn't really important for about 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden everybody got really into it. And then come out of it and then went back into it, and then come out of it and then went back into it. To the extent of there were some people that were coming in the circle, that were on the periphery, that were just ran very quickly. So it was a fascinating day personally for us, and hopefully, in sharing our findings, that you get something from that as well. And it's hard to get your mind around the idea of light beings and what they would look like. But I would say that there is a very good example of what a light being probably would look like when we are light beings. But hey, we're not going to tell you what to believe or what to think or whatever. Take what you want, leave what you don't want.
Cool. Okay, I think that's it. That's a 30-minute video there, so I think that'll do you. Yeah, like I say, if we see anything else in the photos, we'll certainly share that. But I hope you've enjoyed this. And remember, you are light. We are light. Yeah, until the next one, blessings all.